calls here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jameson.
All right, that's right. It is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. I'm here with my buddy Kneecap, Bill and Keegan. How's everybody doing tonight? Wayne Shirk comes in and says, "Let's go, Lions." Thank you for the invite to your new group, Wayne. So, what's up, Keegan?
Nothing much. How's everyone doing?
I'm fantastic. Just waiting on Detroit Dom to get here, and we'll be doing a little more talking. But right now, let me get in here and look at our topics of the day because, well, I'm old. I might forget. No Neil in the gang? Evidently not. Oh, 2 words. Quarterback spy. This must be Detroit Dom. Oh. Am I right? Is that you, Dom? All right.
Can you hear and see me now?
I can hear you. I still can't see you.
No?
No, it's still a black screen on my end. And AG needs to get his head out of his ass this game. We'll talk about that because I don't think that's going to be the issue. DPJ makes his...
How about now?
Still can't see you.
Nope.
There we go.
There you go.
It's there. You're here.
Well, all right.
Welcome. I see you now, Dom.
Welcome, Dom.
All right.
So DPJ makes his debut this week. What is your over-under for targets for him, Dom?
Over-under. I'm going to say more, and I'm taking the under.
We're on the same page. What do you think, Egan?
I mean, heavily.
I'm gonna say over under is 5. I'm gonna take the under 5.
Yeah, that's where I was at. I was thinking he's going to get about 5 targets. What I think he will be more involved in is exactly what he was involved in at Cleveland, and that's downfield blocking with J-Mo, freeing up Monty or Gibbs for longer runs than usual.
Yeah.
Because the one thing he did, even though he was only targeted, only reason why he was only targeted 18 times, he played 83% of the snaps because of his downfield blocking for Cleveland. So I love that. I also, what do you guys think? I think Jameson Williams starting to earn more targets because ever since he had Max Crosby hit him so hard that his head popped out of his ass so fast his helmet flew off, he's caught everything thrown his way since then.
Yeah, I think he's working his way through those yips, and he's getting more snaps and more targets because of that blocking.
Right. Well, nobody blocked on that end around that he was doing. And Crosby went straight through. Like, it even looked like Brock Wright said, "Ole." And he hit him so hard his helmet popped off. Well, I said the reason why it popped off is because his head got knocked out of his ass so fast the helmet came off.
It's crazy. And maybe at this point I'm kind of, grasping at straws, looking for positive things for JMO, because I'm sure it's happened before. I don't ever remember seeing it happen with a Lion. Tell me when you've ever seen a wide receiver, the same wide receiver, throw the block in the hole to create the hole and then outrun the running back downfield and then throw another block that springs him for the touchdown.
Yeah, I noticed that. You noticed that too, because I noticed it right away. He came across.
Oh yeah, I saw.
He came
what
across
happened,
like a
but
pulling
it was
tight
almost
end.
like I couldn't believe my eyes.
It was almost like he was a pulling tight end the way he came through the line and he chipped the linebacker that was going to hit Monty, and Monty busted out and he starts running. He does like a tumble, gets up and starts running full speed, runs past Monty and hits the safety coming across that had the angle. I was like,
that was spectacular.
Have we ever seen anybody that fast on the field for the Lions before? Anybody?
Eddie Drummond was fast, but I don't think he was that fast.
Right. Neither was Andre Roberts, who was fast and got return touchdowns for us.
Andre Roberts had tremendous, I don't know what you want to call it, technique, I guess. Like he was just, he knew what to do when returning a punt because he wasn't like blazing fast.
Right. And my dad,
Stephon Logan,
and Smoke Dad pops in, says, "What's up, guys?" He goes, "If we get into a shootout with the Bears, we're going to have a problem." I don't see we're going to be a problem with the Bears. Number one, they haven't played a rushing defense a rushing offense as potent as ours. No, they played against all sorts of teams that have been struggling to move the ball on the ground. That's why they have the overrated sixth. It's not second as advertised by the Bears fans. It's sixth best rushing defense. We've already played against one of the top rushing defenses and smoked the shit out of them.
Chicago just hasn't. I mean, I don't think they've even really seen an elite running back, let alone I think the only time they've given up over 100 was actually against Kansas City.
Right.
And it was like Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire both had about 50 or 60.
I think they both had 40, and honestly, Mahomes had another 20. It was
because that's probably
they each had.
That's probably Edwards-Helaire's best game all year.
Right. And both of them had 40 yards apiece, and Mahomes had another 20 on broken plays that he had to run. So that's what it was. And I think they had like 105 against them.
Right.
But yet, what'd they have against us? What was it? 72 yards total that game? And 45 of it being Mahomes?
Rushing?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it was Mahomes. I was never worried about Pacheco. I'm not at this point. I've officially been sold. I am a believer in this run defense. But then look what happened to the pass defense.
Jackson is out. Is Jackson out?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jackson's out. I think Sorsdal will.
I believe so.
I think Sorsdal has earned that starting spot over Awasika. That being said, I think Sorsdal's doing well and graded out better every time he's played next to Awasika while people were hurt. So I think Sorsdal should get that spot. And Wayne Shirk says, I believe this is only his 12th game, and he may just meet expectations yet. Man, if he does, holy smokes, this team. You're absolutely right, Wayne Shirk.
Who is he talking about?
JMO.
I want to go back to the Braylon Daniels comment. So we brought up Quentin Bohanna and Connor Galvin.
And Connor Galvin is probably because Matt Nelson is out for the season now, right? Didn't he go out last week? He's our swing tackle that we'd use as the extra tackle, and he got hurt.
I think so, but I was going to say that.
But Connor Galvin is a tackle.
Yeah, I'm saying in the depth chart, Sorsdal is listed as a backup right tackle. So Galvin will probably slide up to as the backup right tackle while Sorsdal moves to the guard.
Right. But I'm saying he was the swing tackle when he graduated from Baylor. So he will probably be the swing tackle for us in the extra offensive lineman formation is what I was getting at when we go to that. What is that? The 13 man, I think it is, when we bring in the extra lineman.
Right.
Yeah.
It says unspecified for game status for Jonah, but he's out.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't practice all week.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the best news that we heard for our secondary this week? Fields is starting.
Yes. That's 2 easy picks right there.
Number one is, I thought Skipper will be backup tackle or extra tackle. Skipper has been playing more at guard when he's called up. He will be either the starting left guard or the backup guard. He's going to be one or the other.
Right.
Because, when Glasgow was at center and Awasika looked like total booty cheeks, Dan Skipper came in and Sorsdahl was the one that stayed in there.
Mm-hmm.
That was during the Raiders game, wasn't it? When Glasgow was at center? Because last game was the first game back for Jonah.
Yes. Yeah. Graham did play center. Because didn't we have Yodi starting?
Yeah, Coyote Awasika was the starting guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's listed as the number 2 left guard, but even the Lions app has it kind of messed up, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because they have
Skipper as the backup left tackle, Glasgow is the backup. Okay, he is the backup center,
right,
and starting right guard.
But Quentin Bohanna being a call up, will he see the field? We don't know, and we still don't know who the healthy scratches will be. God, please, God, for the love of God, let Burrito Jones and Will Harris be healthy scratches for 1 week.
Right. I don't think they'll scratch Benito because it looks like Bugs probably might not play.
Yeah, I heard.
Bugs hasn't practiced all week.
I think Bugs is going to be the healthy scratch again or whatever.
Bugs is hurt and he hasn't practiced. No, he's sick and hasn't practiced all week.
So he's probably out, which means, God, can we just let Martin play more?
We'll probably see Levi. We'll probably see Levi.
Levi hasn't been healthy. Levi hasn't
been healthy since before we drafted him.
Because he elected not to have the back surgery when he got hurt in college. Came back too early, got hurt again, came back too early, had the surgery, and came back too early again.
What I'm saying he's been full practice the last two days. So unless something happened in practice, we might see him.
I'd rather him be a healthy scratch because even when he's been on the field, he's been nothing.
Yeah. So with 2 more tackles out,
who knows?
How are you so sick that you don't practice for 3 days?
There was
some nasty flu.
I was to say there was that nasty flu that left Amon-Ra when he got healthy with blisters on his hands and feet when he played against Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it really affected him.
Yeah, 102 yards receiving and a touchdown, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guess who's got a longer streak of 100-yard games? Amon-Ra or Brown? Oh, it's Amon-Ra.
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 As a matter of fact, there's only 3 wide receivers with 6 100-yard games this year, period. And A.J. Brown is one of them, but they weren't consecutive like Amon-Ra's.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
plus Amon-Ra's Brown has a much better number 2. Although here's a good question. I'll pose this one to our viewers as well. Who would you rather have? Devontae Smith or Sam Laporta?
Sam Laporta.
Laporta.
But through my sources, I have heard some rumors. There's a possible future Hall of Famer whose agent has been talking the last 3 days with Brad Holmes. I do not want to say the name because if it falls through and he's not signed, but it could happen as early as next Tuesday. And if it happens, I say that's the defensive player that would make
You
the
can
push
say
for
it. It's the guy we've been talking about for 2 years, is it not?
who?
Or is it not?
It's not Sue.
If I say it and I'm right, will you say yeah, it's him?
Sure,
Is it's so it's not Sue?
it's not Sue.
Not Sue.
They put
Braylon
said
Dennis.
possible.
It's J.J. Watt's agent that's been talking with Brad Holmes the last 3 days.
Wow. He did say a couple months ago that he thought about
3
coming
weeks
back
ago.
for an abbreviated season to
Yep.
a contender.
And 3 weeks ago, he said the only team I could see it being is the Detroit Lions. They have been impressing me so much this season. He said that on the Pat
I heard the
McAfee
first
show.
whispers of those rumors like a couple weeks into the season.
Well, it just came out that his agent has been talking to Brad Holmes the last 3 days.
If it doesn't happen, I'm blaming you.
That's why he didn't want to say the name.
That's why I didn't want to say the name. That's why I was leaving it as a possible future Hall of Famer.
How old is he?
35.
35. Okay.
34.
34. He won't turn 35 till January, isn't it?
March.
March. Yeah. That's okay. Think about
There's
this.
no way.
If that happens, that is exactly why we didn't make a trade or offer anything out of this year's draft capital for anybody. Plus, look at it this way. Chicago's Bears picks are going to be in the top 10 of every round. The Lions pick are going to be in the back half of every round. Even if we did offer this year's second round pick, which are you accepting if you're Washington? A late second round pick or an early second round pick, which in essence is an extra first rounder.
Right, yeah, I feel you.
And that's why I thought it was an overpay for Sweat.
Yeah.
And
Even
they
the
overpaid to keep him because he came out and said, I don't even know if I want to play here after this season. So they threw him a buttload of money.
There's the question. Let's say we do make that move. I bet you he signs for a little bit less with us than he would with Chicago.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, things could be a lot different in a few months in Chicago.
Braylon Dennis says wishful thinking. Well, it was reported 3 weeks before the trade deadline that the Lions contacted Washington. And they turned us down and offered us Chase Young, and we said we're out.
Yeah.
Sweat would have been the one I preferred anyways.
Exactly.
Chase Young barely even saw the field in Washington.
He was not.
He missed a season and a half out of 3 years.
Right.
I mean,
he was kind of boomer bust.
Right.
Like,
his rookie year. And then somebody tried to say, he had 12 and a half sacks his rookie year. No, sir. He had 7.5 sacks his rookie year. He has 14 and a half total for the season and a half that he's played.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I went and looked a couple weeks ago, the numbers were lower than I thought.
That being said, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, fantastic. I don't care either way. But the fact that talk is on the table is huge, and that's the type of things that a good GM does instead of giving up draft capital.
Yes. Especially
do you not agree with that, Dom?
Saving that money.
Right. Because even if he does want a little bit of even if he does want a little bit of a bag, let's say he does want a little bit of a bag, we could do a futures contract where you pay him a little bit over like 4 years like we did with the Shark contract.
Mm-hmm.
Where it doesn't hurt the cap in the future too much. It doesn't hurt the cap right now. I
think he's pretty good at that.
I mean, granted, you could see he's been in commercials. He still looks like he's in great shape. So he's just not in game shape. So it'll be just like the Bruce Irvin signing where it's going to take him a week or two to get to game speed.
And plus, in that time.
And that's absolutely fine.
In the time that
I don't care if they take, 2 weeks to activate him. And then when they do, he only plays on third down.
That'll be the Bruce Irvin guy. That's exactly what I said. Because it's looking like it's going to be week 13 or later for James Houston. So we needed somebody to help Hutch sooner.
Right, bridge the gap.
Exactly. That's what I was
Last
about to say.
thing
I was
we,
gonna
the
say.
last thing we want to do is try to rush Houston back.
Right, because remember, even if he comes back at week 13, that just puts him on the 21-day clock to be active. Doesn't mean he hits the field running.
Right. Yeah, I'm in no rush to bring him back until we get to a point where we lost a game because
we
we
shouldn't
couldn't get a
have.
sack.
Right.
Almost
And
happened last week.
did you read my article about the defense versus good teams and the disparity?
Not yet.
Okay. The 5 games where we beat all of the mid to lower tier teams, and you can't tell me they weren't mid to lower tier teams, the 5 wins outside of KC, correct?
Right.
Okay. In those games, we gave up 173.5 yards and 4 touchdowns over 5 games. That's 0.8 touchdowns per game when you break it down.
Right.
And we had 20 sacks in those games with a 40% blitz rate.
Right.
In the 4 games versus the elite teams, including Kansas City, the Chargers, the Raiders, or the Ravens, and what was the other one?
Seattle?
Yeah, in Seattle. We had 1 sack, and that was versus Seattle, and that really wasn't even a sack. That was a coverage sack and a stupidity sack by Geno Smith.
That was the only one of those 4 games where I said, man, we should have got more pressure because both their tackles were out.
Both their tackles were out,
Yeah.
and they were on their second guard already of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And their center got hurt during the game.
And we took Evan Brown out.
Yeah.
Oh, Evan Brown, my bad.
So basically, they had 1/5 of their starting lineup, which was their left guard. That's it. And we didn't give up a lot of pressures in that game on Goff. I think he only got sacked twice, and those were more of coverage sacks, correct?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 pressure where he was hit and threw that god-awful pass, the one that was a pick 6 to Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah, but then he did what he's done literally almost all year. Notice how every time he throws a bad interception,
next drive is a touchdown.
Yeah.
He's done it every time. But in those against those 4 teams, they have averaged 304.5 yards per game. We've gotten 1 sack, and we blitz only 10% of the time. And 11 touchdowns.
Right. Well, newsflash, it's hard to beat good teams. Good teams usually have good offensive lines. That's what makes them good.
But the 10% blitzing thing is what I'm getting at.
Right. That could have been my 2 more words other than quarterback spy. Blitz more.
And
we don't need to blitz Justin Fields, though.
We don't need
to rush the ball.
But look at it. It's a sub 500 team, so you know what's going to happen? Exactly what happened to the Raiders. We're going to blitz 70% of the time when they're passing.
Yeah.
I
expect some interceptions.
I expect the exact same type of play calling we saw versus the Raiders on defense, because that's what AG does. He dials up these brilliant defensive exotic blitzes whenever we play a mid to bad team.
Right, when he doesn't need to.
And then shits through his depends when he faces a good team.
Hey, whatever. We still only have
2 losses.
Right. And only wait, what am I trying to say? I don't know. I mean, I've called all these outcomes correctly except for
the Chargers.
Because I thought we were going to lose. And I wasn't. I was talking to Andrew about it earlier, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad that we won. But before the game, I said I had it circled as a loss. So if we lose, as long as we don't look like we did against the Ravens, no big deal.
Yeah.
Because the only way, like that was literally one of the least important games of the year. Because the only way, let's say we did lose, the only way the result of that game comes into play. Actually, I wrote it, or no, I typed it. Would be if we tied for the division we split with Minnesota, and we had the same division record because the third tiebreaker is record against common opponents.
Right.
But now I'm scared about the Broncos. But I'm not looking that far ahead.
I know. It's 1 week at a time. That's what we look for. That's what they've been doing. That's what they've been
saying it all
preaching.
year.
And if we do make that signing, that's about the exact time he'd be playing.
Right. And that's probably when we kind of need him. Wouldn't it be great to have J.J. Watt against a mobile quarterback?
It'd be great to have J.J. Watt against a statue. What are you talking about?
To be honest, as much as I love the Josh Dobbs story, I think it'll also be right around that time when everyone figures him out again.
Well, he already has to face one team that beat him already this week.
Right. Like, people want to talk him up so much.
Remember,
like he had one
he
win.
lost, but at the same time, you can't say he was the reason they lost. That defense, and as bad as it is the reason they lost.
Yeah.
True.
Because he had them in positions to win. Every single loss was by one score other than the game where they beat. Who was that team they beat again? Oh, yeah, Dallas.
Dallas, who can't beat any winning teams or a one-win team.
They were a 0-win team when they played.
Right. Oh, that's right. They were.
Oh, they're playing a 1-win team this week.
Oh, Carolina, right?
I've heard nothing about Ziggy Ansah, so that's not happening.
Ziggy Ansah is in hospice because he's 78 years old.
Yeah, I mean he was at least 45 when he was drafted out of college. Those Ghana birth certificates.
Honestly, though, I liked that pick until I found out he was 35.
Yeah, until you saw the first picture of him. My God, he looks older than me.
I liked him because he was an athletic specimen, and even though he was raw, he didn't have any bad habits because he didn't even know what an American football was until 6 months before that.
Right, 6 more,
and he had all that talent around him.
I mean, he was sweet there for a minute. That rookie year was great. What did he have? 10 sacks?
Tried like 14 and a half, I think. 12 and a half?
Yeah, at 12 and a half. It was 12 and a half because the rookie record is 14 and a half, and I can't remember who. Oh, that was J.J. Watt.
I think it was TJ.
Was it TJ? I know it was one of the Watt brothers. I thought it was JJ.
Ziggy's.
I lied. He had eight sacks his rookie year. He had 14 and a half in 2015.
Right.
Then he was 12 in 2017.
Yep. And then 6.5 since then, and he's out of the league.
Exactly. Nobody's bringing Ziggy Ansah back. We don't have Martin Mayhew or Boob Quinn here.
Yeah, but notice where he went for his last season.
Seahawks.
San Francisco.
San Fran.
San Francisco.
I've had tomorrow's game circled since last November. You've had that circled since the season ended. 100%. When they said they weren't re-signing you.
Oh, when all the Bears fans for his entire career tried to tell us how underrated he is, then we got him to like, oh, he sucks.
Right. As soon as he was on our team, oh yeah, he was trash. How many yards does he have again? 507 and what is it? 7 touchdowns?
A bunch. And he's missed what?
3 games?
3 games?
3 games. He missed 1 game early and then he missed 2 games after that.
Yeah, he got tired and banged up from running people over.
He got,
but we're really gonna miss Jamal Williams and Swift, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Well, let me see. Wait, what is it? 975 yards and 11 touchdowns for Gibbs and Montgomery combined, and those two combined for their respective teams is 775 yards and 3 touchdowns.
45.
That O-line is so goddamn good the three of us could be running backs 1 through 3
and gain 4
with
yards.
Big Dan Davis at fullback.
And
Yeah.
gain 4 yards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the key to the game, I'm going to sum it up real simple, and then I'll go around the horn. It's run the ball till they cheat it up into the box, and then hit them over the top with play action. Keegan?
I'm gonna say this. Run the goddamn ball. Run it up the throats. And then when needed, pass the ball. When we're on those second and longs or third and longs, we need to pass the ball.
No, I say we need to run them into submission. But anyways,
Right.
Dom,
Is Reynolds still on the active roster?
Josh?
Craig Reynolds?
Oh, Craig is still there.
Oh yeah,
Craig.
Thanks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would not even attempt to throw the ball until we had to.
Exactly. Unless we're in a third and long.
If Demo and Gibbs get tired, bring in Reynolds.
But I have a prediction that Monty will have over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is against his former team. This is a FU game for Monty.
I see DPJ pulling the tight end rolling block into the hole and JMO knocking Brisker's head off downfield.
Well, that would be great.
Oh, wait, is Brisker still hurt? I'm just playing. No, that's Sine that got hurt for Minnesota, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even when he was healthy, he was underwhelming.
Right. They had already started their rookie over him, if I remember right. Josh Metellus.
He's from Georgia, right?
Sine was from Alabama, wasn't he?
I think he's Georgia.
He's one or the other. Justin Fields, I feel good about tomorrow. Not until we hit you.
The real question is, will he throw another pick while we rush 0? Yeah, Sine is from Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't Brisker also? Or is he Alabama?
Brisker?
I thought Brisker was like Illinois or Northwestern. You're the draft guru. How do you not remember?
Because I've had way too much.
Penn State.
Okay. Well, that's why he's good. That's DBU.
Yeah.
Lately.
Speaking of,
well, Justin Fields, all I got to ask is how many times are you going to complete passes to Kerby Joseph and Aiden Hutchinson?
It'd be awesome if we could see another Hutch pick this week.
He went to the Steelers.
What?
Joey Porter.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about Penn State DBs. He went to the Steelers. I forgot.
Yeah, and he's been having a decent season. I mean, he's had some bad games, but he's a rookie. You expect that.
That reminds me, I know it's way too early thinking about draft, but I was thinking about the Kalen dude out of Penn State.
Who?
Kalen King.
We're not talking about draft.
There he is. There's our boy.
That's what I said. It's a long ways, but I was just thinking about Kalen King since you brought the DBs from Penn State.
I really don't even want to talk draft yet. This is the first time in November
I haven't
where I don't care.
Yeah.
Our needs.
The only time I've looked.
Our needs coming up. We're gonna have to think about taking an early tackle because Decker's contract is coming up at the end of the 2025 season. We're gonna have to think about if Jonah Jackson continues to be in and out of the lineup, about drafting somebody to replace him. So I wouldn't be surprised with late in the draft and a deep O-lineman draft that we go either tackle or guard or somebody that has played both positions.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't be mad if like 4 of our first 5 picks are all
Trent.
D-line or O-line.
I can see it being flip-flopped each time. Whichever one we take the first time, we take the other one the next time.
Yeah.
Shit, if a really good tackle slips into the 20s, I wouldn't be mad about that.
They won't because it's a very shallow defensive line draft. This is the
No, I'm saying O-line.
O-line, yes, but I'm just saying D-line draft. I think it's very top heavy early.
Ooh, good question.
Ooh, bottom
I
line
don't know.
sports. Where do you see a classic trap game for the Lions going forward? I say the two trap games are at Saints and Broncos at home.
I was gonna
Yep.
say
I,
Saints and Cowboys. We always have a tough time in Dallas.
You know what? But I'm saying we'll probably have the division wrapped up by then, and that game won't matter except for seeding.
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm glad you said that, because I've got a mind blower for you in a little bit here when we get to that. If we want to start talking playoffs,
I'm still not ready to talk playoffs. I want to keep it.
Me neither.
I just want to keep focusing on the
That's
next
the-
game at hand. I don't want to go too far ahead, but bottom line sports, that was a great question. I appreciate that. But
The funny thing is, though, in my mind, I can't call either one of those a trap game. The Saints have an over 500 record. They're leading the division, and Denver all
There
of a
are
sudden
at
looks like a
500,
real
I
NFL
thought.
football team.
I think they're
Denver all of a
actually-
sudden looks like a real NFL football team. I've been iffy on the Saints game ever since I saw the schedule. That was also back when.
they're only 500. They're not above 500. They are 5-5. They're just leading the division because the rest of the division, as we said, is that piss poor.
Rudy.
I was worried about the Saints game when I thought we might be closer to them in one-loss record. Because remember, I was like, we need to win every one of those games against the South for tiebreakers. And Denver, that could be the one that we give back.
And if it is, they're actually playing really good, and Russell Wilson's starting to look like the Russell Wilson of old. And say what you want, he's running smart again. He stopped doing that. That's why he was getting hurt. He was running in the middle of the field and not to the sidelines. And now he's doing more of that rollout and run to the sideline and not take the hits like he used to do, which is very good for him. Oh, 100% it was Hackett. But he got hurt in Seattle more, is what I'm getting at. Because he stopped running to the sidelines. He started running to contact. Remember?
Right.
And then he basically stopped running. It was like he got scared. People said, I'm going
to send you something after the show because I know how much you love Colin Cowherd, but it was something that he said a couple weeks ago, I guess. Even though, he doubled back on what but no, he was talking about Russell Wilson, and he said, you don't just go from that good to washed. Just like that. You know what I mean?
But it was a mental thing. I don't think he ever fully recovered from that injury season at Seattle. And then he came into a bad situation with a bad head coach who wanted somebody else and called plays like he had that quarterback on the team.
Right.
Kind of like who was our first OC and who did he call plays for when we didn't have that type of quarterback?
Wait, when? What are you talking
with
about?
Dan Campbell, Anthony
Lynn,
who literally, when the trade came out, looked physically ill that we got traded for Goff.
Well, all I know is Anthony Lynn, wasn't he? He was the Chargers head coach for a minute as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want anyone associated with the Chargers whatsoever. Period.
Unless it's someone like Wade Phillips for DC.
Right.
Or Kellen Moore.
Years. Speaking of the Chargers, you know who looks awful ordinary all of a sudden?
Justin Herbert.
No, he's still really good. Don't they have one of the second generation defensive backs?
Yeah, Derwin James.
Samuel?
No, not him. Yeah, Asante Samuel. They've got him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, their pass defense is atrocious. Atrocious.
But
I feel sorry for Justin Herbert,
I just
kind
think
of.
because of the history we have there at Saints has always been a problem game. It's much easier now that Derek Carr's out for the season, and it's going to be
Mhm.
famous Jameis. 30 for 30.
Yeah.
The guy
So
that
listen to this. James sent me this yesterday. The Chargers are 482, 482, and 11 all time. Herbert is 29 and 29 as a starter. Since his first start, they have scored 1,502 points and allowed 1,502 points.
So their offense is prolific, but their defense is prolific at letting people score.
Yeah.
It's basically what you're saying in
Right.
58 games.
Yeah. That was a strategic shootout that we got into. We didn't want to,
But the fact that
but
we
we
got
couldn't
into the
beat
league,
any pass rush. Couldn't lock up Keenan Allen. I said it in the third quarter. I said, whoever gets the ball last is going to win. Because guess what? They couldn't stop us either.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say in Glenn's defensive adjustments at halftime, that just hurt our defense. Because first
They were
half, our defense was
non-existent.
looking great.
What did he do any different? Wait, were we up in the first half? I can't remember. That game's kind of a blur. I just kept clapping every time Herbert threw a touchdown pass because he's my fantasy quarterback, and I knew we weren't going to lose.
I think.
so that's basically it. I think we're going to see a steady dose of Monty and Gibbs.
Yeah.
And say what you want. Everybody who says Goff is slow, they need to go back and watch Week 18 on the end around when JMO broke around and had that 41-yard run that was called back due to Brock Wright holding behind the play. And watch Jared Goff outrun JMO to throw a block. What's weird is he can run that fast without the ball, but with the ball, he moves like his feet are in cement.
He's no less athletic than Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
And
and technically he ran the same 40 time as Pat Mahomes. 4.8.
Because if you think about it, the way the league is now, there are no more, absolute statues in the pocket.
I mean,
Like, is Goff athletic? No, not at all. But he can move if he has to.
But I just thought it was funny. I was watching the replay and I didn't even realize it. The guy that threw the block that allowed JMO to get another 10 yards was Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He'll stick it out there.
But he outrun JMO to throw a block is what I'm saying. And I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Like we watching Jared Goff
right
run in for touchdowns.
What's that, Dom?
I said I'll be right back.
Okay, sir.
Like us watching Jared Goff run in for touchdowns.
That's still mind-boggling that he can run that fast.
Yeah.
Without the ball. So, who's out there in the chat? What do you want to ask? Because I like it when you guys ask questions, especially when they're very intelligent questions. Bottom Line Sports, that was an amazing question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And everybody says that Bears getting put into hibernation tomorrow. I think they were in hibernation starting week 1. They only have 3 wins and 7 losses.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in hibernation
Mahomes
since
does.
about week 4 of last year. They got that. They must have that basement looking all nice by now. They've had 2 years to work on it.
Exactly.
Okay, I have to give you the damper. Even though, all right, I know we're not, nor should we be talking mock drafts and whatnot, much like we're not talking playoffs and playoff seeds. But we can all agree we're very confident we're making playoffs, right?
Mm. Oh, we're considered a
Right?
99.9% chance to make the playoffs right now.
Correct.
But our
With the
chances of
number one.
making the
Go ahead.
playoffs, but the Super Bowl is at 9.1%, which is the best odds we've ever had. We never had 9.1% when we had Barry Sanders. Think about
I
that.
believe that. Right, but the whole percentages thing wasn't much of a thing back then.
Is there anything on the Bears that concern you? Let me think. Tremaine and TJ looked like they were overpaid. Montez Sweat was overpaid, and he can get pressure as long as there's enough coverage.
Khalil Herbert, just ask Bears fans.
he's
I'm more worried about
Dunta.
I'm more worried about Dunta Foreman and the way he's performed the last few weeks than I am Khalil Herbert.
Foreman, I thought I saw
Should have been
Foreman
the
is
starter
listed
from week
out.
1. Should have been the starter from week 1.
Last time I checked.
And honestly, Jeremy, you probably remember, he was the one I wanted in free agency. I mean, obviously, I don't think any of us saw that David Montgomery signing coming.
No, we didn't. But as soon as it happened,
right. You know what the crazy thing is?
Bottom Line Sports, it's a tale of two teams in the pass coverage. You got to look at who we played. We had 4 games where we gave up over 300 yards, and we've had 5 games where we've given up less than 200 yards and only 4 touchdowns. So it's a tale of two secondaries because it all deals with the pressure. If the pressures are dialed up, the secondary is good. If the pressures aren't dialed up, the secondary is bad. So that's where I'm at with that. So as long as AG can finally pull his head out of his ass and not shit out of his depends when he faces a good team, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Right. And that's football though.
Right, but I'm
like
just
we could have Darius Slay and whoever and Sutton and 2 or 3 spectacular safeties. You could have Jesus and several of the disciples as your defensive backs. If you can't get pressure, it does not matter.
What is the key to stop Justin Fields? Justin Fields has yet to beat the Lions as a starter. The last time the Bears beat us, Andy Dalton was the starter.
Andrew, I'm going to say let him pass the ball.
Seriously, you guys got to go back and look. In 2021, when we lost the early game to the Bears, Andy Dalton was their starter.
Yeah.
Yep.
We lost to the Bays Water Pistol.
Justin Fields
is exactly what we've done the last 3 times we faced him.
Right. Again, it goes back to football. The key to stopping Justin Fields or any quarterback is pressure.
No, I trust Stevie Wonder's driving ability more than Justin Fields' ability to read a defense.
I passed that along to somebody and they were laughing. But it was the one you said about Stevie Wonder reading a text message.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Because it was Steve. It said, how did you say it?
I said,
it was Justin Fields can read a defense about as well as Stevie Wonder can read a text message. And they were like, damn, but true.
And we played 3 other really good defenses where we've done well, Bottom Line Sports.
The Ravens did work us over. I mean, I didn't think
we came out
that
flat.
Bad.
We came out flat. We had a piss poor offensive scheme and a piss poor defensive scheme that game. It is what it is.
Actually, Aaron Glenn was committed to not letting Fields beat him with his legs, and he didn't.
You mean Jackson?
What did I say? Fields.
Yeah. I mean,
but Jackson picked us apart from the pocket. But we didn't get any friggin' pressure.
But Jackson's been doing that all season from the pocket. He had Todd Munkin, whatever his name is. He doesn't have Fields running the ball a lot.
Jackson. No, you're confusing them.
Yeah, because
Or
you
saying
said
wrong.
it. Yeah, I was fine with Jackson.
Right, yeah, I messed you up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, their scheme is way better. And OBJ is back from the dead, sort of.
the Chiefs have one of the best defenses in the NFL. We beat them. The Chargers on paper have a great defense. We beat them. Tampa Bay has a great defense.
And
We beat them. That's no bullshit. Go look. Everybody else struggles with the Buccaneers to score a buttload of points.
Yeah.
Did we score a bunch against them?
Well, we beat them by 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 20-6 because we only allowed them 1 touchdown and they tried to go for 2.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, wait, back to what I was saying real quick. So we agree we're in the playoffs.
Yep.
Probably, right? And obviously winning the division. Probably the 2 seed, right? So 2 plays 7, 4 plays 5, 3 plays 6, 1 gets a bye. So if Minnesota's the 7, we beat them, then we
Uh-oh.
of the 4 or 5.
Your internet just went.
Seattle.
You said if we're 2 and Minnesota 7, we play them and we beat them, and then you went and stopped.
Oh,
yeah.
So we get the winner of the 4 or 5, which
Right.
is Seattle.
Because 4 or 5 will be what? Seattle or Dallas?
Seattle, New Orleans, Dallas probably gets the 6.
But you're forgetting one thing. It's playoff football, and Saints will be the home.
They're not beating friggin' Seattle. Come on.
Hey, if you think
So what's my biggest concern for the Lions down the stretch? It's Aaron Glenn calling a good defense.
Wait, you didn't let me get to the rest. So then you got 3-6,
Okay.
which is probably Frisco and Dallas. Obviously, Frisco wins. And then Philly as the number 1 seed, gets the lowest remaining seed, which would be
Seattle.
They get Seattle. Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Even if we get to the 1 seed, we still get Seattle. Because then we get a bye, and then the lowest remaining seed, which would be Seattle. Or if we get the 3 seed, we get Dallas at home. So I think really we want the 3 seed. I think.
I kind of don't want the 1 seed because of the rest or rust theory. And it has been self-evident, except for last year, was both number 1 seeds playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I don't want the 1 either, because then we get Seattle with rust.
Hey,
Right.
we realize though these next 2 weeks is make or break for the 1 seed right now.
Over Dallas, it's obvious the 49ers win because Dallas is a choke artist in the playoffs, especially versus San Francisco.
This week, Eagles go against the Chiefs, which will be a race for number 1 in the league. Next week, Eagles versus 49ers. There's a chance for us to bump up to 1 in the NFC.
And I don't like it.
Yeah, I think a week off hurts us more than it helps us. Let's just get in the playoffs first.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about that?
One week at a time.
Right.
I understand. Bottom line.
Go ahead.
And your guys have been outstanding in the playoffs. This team, this regime, this coaching staff, these players have never been in the playoffs, so we don't know what they're going to do.
I was going to say
about history.
Yeah, these guys have been nothing in the playoffs because they haven't been there.
Yeah.
Jared Goff has been pretty good in the playoffs. Who else on the roster even has any experience?
Josh Reynolds with Goff. CJGJ went to the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia last year.
You think
That's
about
it. And Cam shut down with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They lost in the first round.
I know, but he's still been to the playoffs, is all I'm saying. That's about all
Yeah.
we have for playoff experience on this team.
That was the most fraudulent division winner and playoff participant I've ever seen until Minnesota said, hold my beer last year. And lost to the Giants.
Don't care. Guess what? New teams with new regimes, coaching staff have a tendency to have good playoff records lately.
Right. Yeah. Who are the Bengals till they made that playoff run? And
They
I
were
said
nobody.
I was like, when they got in, I was like, watch out for the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, they were a better O-line away from winning that Super Bowl.
And then look, we were the highest chance to make a Bengals run, and right now we're doing that.
I think it would surprise less people.
I mean, it's weird how, fans talk more shit about the Lions of other teams than any of the national pundits do anymore.
Yeah. The media is sold on us.
Especially that blowout win against the Raiders on primetime.
No,
Anyone that didn't see that coming.
we called for a blowout win against the Raiders on prime time. You
No,
gotta
I'm
stop
saying
that.
I'm not
Stop
saying,
that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that just showed something that why we're getting this attention.
No, it was expected, and we did it. That's all it was.
But look at the Raiders since then. They're bouncing back. They're still hanging around.
Right.
Mhm.
And they're going to give Antonio Pierce the Bisaccia treatment at the end of the season. Watch.
I thought you were going to say they're going to hire him. No, they won't.
Nope. Because guess who's been on the sideline at Michigan for every game while he was able to be a head coach, but now has not shown up to one?
Who?
Harbaugh.
Tom Brady.
Oh,
He's part owner of what team?
the Raiders.
That's where Harbaugh goes next year.
I could see it. But do they also go Raiders and draft J.J. McCarthy in the first round?
Watch. That would be hilarious.
I think he's going to the Bears.
J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah. No, Harbaugh. And I think he literally he'll make it like almost part of his contract. Like, I don't want this job unless you draft my quarterback. But it kind of makes sense. It depends on what happens with polls.
And that's right. I'm saying they're a question mark, but you're acting like it can't happen, that they can't win bottom line sports. And that's not the case. You can't say they can't win, because if they get there, that means they're a good team, especially if they win their division. That means they're a good team. They'll be one of the top 4 seeds. Hands down, end of story.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
it's also
and while you're talking shit to us, and I know you're a 49ers fan, who has the better record? Who lost to a sub 500 team?
I think more than one, didn't they?
Well, Cleveland's not a sub 500 team. Oh, they did. They lost to a bad Minnesota team. And who's the other one they lost to?
Jets. Was it the Jets?
Well,
no, Philly lost to the Jets.
Yeah, okay, that was Philly.
Brock Purdy's not that guy. Sorry, homie. You haven't had a quarterback that was that guy since friggin' Steve Young. Who else did they lose to? Tampa.
The Cowboys are the
Bengals.
same team they've been every year.
Bengals.
Yep.
Browns, Vikings, and Bengals.
So they lost to 2 good teams and 1 bad team.
Mm-hmm.
Then they stomped the Jaguars, which was a little surprising. The Cowboys are the NFC version of the Dolphins right now.
Yeah.
No wins against. I mean, this has been the Cowboys for
Years.
Since
this whole century.
1997.
This whole century. They they look good against the bad teams. Congrats. It's the NFL. Oh, maybe that's why we beat them there, because until proven otherwise, the Cowboys can't beat a team over 500. Period.
And they couldn't beat a winless team in week 2.
Yeah.
Or was it week 3? I forget. It was so long ago.
Either way, Arizona beat them. So
That being said, it's time to shout out to the sponsors. The first one I don't want to talk to about is FTP. And no, it's not the florist. Who is it, guys?
fuck the Packers.
Can it also be Patriots? Oh, wait, they're fucking themselves.
But yet you still didn't do it, Bottom Line Sports. That's the point we're saying. And my other sponsor, who is Gloss Negron, the window tinter from Saginaw. He is voted the #1 window tinter in the area. Please check him out if you want to see some great work. He did this Maserati.
Oh, that's sweet.
And he also did this 300 C-Class. Go ahead and give him a call and check him out.
Being a good team. The point differential doesn't matter. A loss is a loss. Neither the Dolphins nor the Cowboys
Have beaten
can beat a good team. That's like saying that two things are different. Like, when they have those things and it's two of like the same picture and like 6 things are different. It's like that, except there's one thing that's different. The Cowboys almost beat a good team, but guess what? They did it.
Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, ship fights, and global thermonuclear war.
Oh, yeah, nuclear war. You got it.
That being said, this has been Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. I want to say thank you to Kneecap Bill and Keegan. I want to say thank you to Dom. My score prediction is 35-14. The Lions win over the Bears.
35-14.
What do you say, Dom?
28-9. No, not 9. Fields won't get them down the field that far. 28-7.
Keegan?
I'm going to say 35-10.
Braylon Dennis says 50-10.
That'd be nice if we could put a 50 bag
Considering
on
we
the
put up 41 on the Chargers, whose defense was ranked better than overall than the Bears was, I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers were also letting us score, though.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great weekend. And as long as your team's not playing my team, I hope your team does well. And if your team's playing my team, well, then fuck your team. Have a great evening and good